Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Oh, you stupid motherfucker!
You're gonna find me dead! I'm gonna kill myself!
Hit the fucking guy! What the fuck is he doing?
I'm gonna be hanging from the bathroom!
They got the leg!
Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey Jerry. We got another great one on deck for you today. We get to sit down with Zach Gentry, talk about what it looks like to stay in Pittsburgh next year, how the offense might end up playing. He's an absolutely hysterical guy, so this was one of our favorite interviews to do. And then next week, we're going to have Connor Hayward on for an episode. At the end of this one, there will be no further recording. However, after the Connor episode, we're probably going to discuss with you guys a little bit of how dinner went with Kenny, some of the things that ended up transpiring from that. And then we'll go from there. So we appreciate you guys. If you can take 1 second, just hop down in the YouTube comments there, leave us a comment, leave us a like. It means a lot to us. We appreciate when you guys take the time to do that. So we'll see you guys here next week. It's time to welcome to the show a man touted as one of the greatest high school football players in the state of New Mexico. The pride of El Dorado High School, a 6'8" baby-faced assassin playing tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 81, Zach Gentry. What up, Zach? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah. Baby face is right. I got a little bit of stubble going here, but maybe you can have me on in the future and I can get a little bit more growth going so you can see the goatee.
Have you ever tried to grow it out?
I've been feeling the mustache lately.
They're coming back.
Really, I feel myself when it starts growing out a little bit. I feel like a man for the first time in my life. But we'll see. I'm gonna grow it out. It looks pretty good.
I was rocking the mustache freshman year of high school, just the mustache.
Were you that kid in like 6th grade that showed up and had armpit hair and everything already?
Oh, Zach, I'm loaded up.
There's always that one kid on your middle school basketball team that would like put his arms up to close out, and he'd have like a full, and you'd feel like, oh shit, I haven't even hit puberty yet.
Yeah, right. What's wild is I couldn't grow a beard until like my senior year of college. Like I could not fucking grow anything, and then all of a sudden the chia pet grew out of my fucking face.
Man, jeez, that's a thick daddy. You look like Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, right. It came in good. I got to be proud of that aspect of it.
No doubt.
Yo, Zach, I gotta ask you this. So, average year from Pittsburgh, I would say. What's that conversation like at the end of the year? The end of the year meeting with Mike Tomlin, all the coaches there, all the players. What's that meeting like? Is it like a meeting where it's like, oh, we fought. Thanks, guys, for the effort. We came up short. Or it's like, no, we should have been better. We should have done this. We should have done that. Next year we're going to – what's that conversation like in the locker room with Mike Tomlin? How does he address you guys?
I mean, every year it's a little bit more unique just because every group is so different, right? I mean, you got those NFL teams, there's so much turnover every year that you get a little kind of almost nostalgic at the end of the year because it's like the season's so damn long that you kind of went to battle with this group. You got to know everybody so well. So at the end, we definitely felt like we left some on the table. We definitely talked about how we're one of those teams that put it together 7-2 the last 9. So we felt like we could have made a run in the playoffs if we got in. I mean, shit, I think we were playing good enough to do that. And so a little disappointing, a little different at the end of this year, but I always like how Coach Tomlin just kind of puts like a nice little bow on it at the end of the year, like really appreciative of this group of men, really got some good memories of this group of men. He always puts it in perspective, like, this is the last time this group is going to be together. So like, enjoy it, enjoy the memories and everything. So he always kind of finishes up like that. But there was definitely this year more so than others, a feeling of like, shit, like I wish this were the year we could have won a couple of those damn games in the first eight, before the bye week to just solidify a spot.
those are the ones that fucking haunt us. And as Steelers fans, those are the ones that haunt us. The Steelers are always, obviously you've been here 4 years now, but dating back to like the early thousands, the Steelers are always within one game of making the playoffs. So we always do the what if we would have beat this fucking team or this fucking team. So it's frustrating as hell that we do go 7-2. We have the number one running game in football going into the playoffs and we just don't get in. Like those ones hurt us a lot.
For sure, dude. Like for players and coaches' perspective too, like those first 8 weeks, I mean, we dropped some of those games that we should have won at that time, but we're like, damn, I mean, if we would have been clicking like we were in the second half of the year, in the first half of the year, I mean, those are like no-brainer wins, you know? So it's even more frustrating. And I get the NFL season's long, it's super freaking long. So like you can, there's a lot of growth to be had throughout the year, but I wish we could have had some of those back for sure.
The thing that sticks out to me is like, you know, I've been a fan of the Steelers for a long time, and it's like these last couple of years, like I've really grown to appreciate how important every single game is. You know, because you could look back at the Steelers season, you win one more game, I mean, you're there. You know what I mean? And that's just, it seems to me like the last couple of years, that's been the story. Like we're always a game away, we're always one game away, and it's like, man, I wish we could have that Jets game back. I wish we could have that Patriots game back. But at the end of the day, just can't. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And that's what, you know, people always ask me all the time about, like, the differences between the NFL and college, or, like, you know, things I've learned in the NFL that people don't know about. I mean, it's nothing that people don't know about, but it's simply like every fucking game you play is close. I mean, every game, very rarely, like, if a team blows out another team like the, you know, just – the other day, you know, the Eagles won 31-7 or whatever it was. I mean, that's like beating a team 70-0 in college. I mean, like, it's unbelievable how you can get out ahead of teams. It feels like we do it all the time too. You get out ahead like 3-4 touchdowns going into like the fourth quarter, and then at the end you're holding on your ass because they're onside kicking. You know what I mean? It's like shit to make it a one-score game. So it is amazing. Like to your point, like, every game matters and every game's close as shit. It doesn't even matter who's playing.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Mr. Gentry. It's not like the Steelers have run away with a win in quite a while. You say 3-4 scores. We ain't been up 3-4 scores in quite some time, big fella. It's usually either we're coming from behind, just at the end we get it together.
You're right.
He's stuck in the Big Ben days.
He is stuck in the Big Ben days.
And that's what I was thinking of, was my rookie year. We went and played the Chargers when they were still in that little soccer stadium.
Oh, yeah. Whooped the shit out of them. Yeah, we whooped the shit out of them.
Got Hodges. But it was the same thing. We were beating them by, I mean, several touchdowns going into the fourth quarter. We were like, oh, we got this shit wrapped up. And then, like I said, we were freaking out at the end of the game because it was Phillip Rivers mounted to come back, and it was a one-score game. Like, shit, how did that even happen? But yeah, we need more of those blowout wins going forward. It definitely gives us a heart attack too.
What was the toughest transition for you from college to the NFL?
Oh, I mean, probably a lot of people say it, but just like the game speed and the physicality. I mean, because like I always say, like the jump from high school to college, people think that's a huge jump, and it is. But I mean, the jump from college to pro is an even bigger leap. Like I went out for like my first OTA practice, and I was like, holy shit! Like watching TJ out there and like Cam Hayward, I've never seen a human being move like that at his size. His head is like the size of this computer monitor, you know, and he's like dipping down and like ankle and knee flexibility, like getting off the ball. He's got hands the size of dinner plates. Like, it's like, holy shit, like what am I supposed to do against these guys? So like, you know, I wasn't as good of a blocking tight end coming out of college, so I had to learn that shit, you know, right away, get the footwork right, and start putting my hat in there.
I mean, that's a lot. It speaks to you haven't played tight end a very long period of time. I mean, for the people listening that don't know, Gentry was a highly touted dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Like, he wasn't – tight end was something that Harbaugh introduced you to when you went to Michigan. So it's not really like you've been doing this forever. And as it stands – like Jerry and I were talking about it before the show, you're you're our best blocking tight end, which is why I really hope that the Steelers find a way to bring you back if you're open to coming back to Pittsburgh, because I mean, make no mistakes about it. Pat's a great tight end, but he's not the greatest blocking tight end. And Connor's not really a great blocking tight end. So we need the big Gentry in here to do the blocking aspect of it.
Man, I mean, I've kind of carved out that role for myself. You know, Jared and I were talking about that before. It's something I didn't think was ever going to be my role. I mean, I was primarily a receiving tight end in college, and obviously as a quarterback. So shit. I mean, to be able to do that now is pretty wild. You know,
Would you like to get a bigger role in the offense to where you're catching more passes and stuff, utilized more in the red zone?
I mean, I would. You know, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want that. You know, I think everybody wants more touches and everything. I mean, listen, I think everybody's supremely confident in their abilities. You know, I was able to make a lot of noise, you know, and catch a lot of balls and whatnot in college. So I feel like it's translated. I mean, I'm a bigger guy than I was in college. There's no doubt. I put on some muscle weight, mostly muscle weight, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe some other weight too, but I feel like I can still get it done. You know, I need a damn touchdown. I mean, my first ever game in preseason, I scored a touchdown. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the man. So I need one.
I didn't want to even bring that up because I'm looking through your stat sheet, you know, last week, and I'm like, damn, he's just never been in the end zone yet.
It's unbelievable.
It really is. I got a body that big, a frame that big. We have to figure out a way to scheme that up. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't have one.
Even we talked about it, Kev. Like, you know, down in the red zone, you know, I know you got Pickens down there. Deontay's not the biggest guy. You know, why not? You know, a little play action, Gentry coming out, you know, on the right side, little flat route, and just dump him off the ball, see what he could do.
Dude, we've called a couple of those plays too, right? So like when we played the Saints this year, there's been a shitload of games where I'm down there and I'm like, we call something for me, and I'm like, oh, this is it. Like I'm getting in the end zone and I'm blacking out and I'm acting like an idiot.
Yes.
So this year I think we played the Saints, and Cam Jordan is lined up in a 6 technique on me, and it's a play where like I have to fire off and act like I'm run blocking and then shed him and get to the flat. A play that has worked for me a million times. I mean, I'm sure you guys see it as fans are like, oh shit, Gentry caught it the flat again. So we're down on like the 7 or 8 yard line, and I go to hit Cam Jordan. I'm like, damn, he's not giving me very much resistance. Shit. All right. So I'm trying to stop him. He's got me man for no fucking reason. I mean, I asked him after the game, I'm like, yo, I thought that was my big touchdown. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just had a feeling. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. I can't get anything past anybody. They can't get in the damn end zone. Unbelievable.
Is that how it is, like, in the NFL? Like, me and Kev are just, like, diehard fans. Like, when you guys get in that red area, is there specific plays being called for specific guys? Like, that's the first option?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, it depends upon who it is and who we're playing. I mean, there are definitely guys they want to touch the ball. Like, we get into the red zone, like, Pat's a guy, obviously, who wins his one-on-one matchups and can make those catches like the one he made 2 years ago in Cleveland, you know, where
in Cleveland. Oh yeah.
Back and like, Deontay obviously runs good routes, so he's able to find some space on that. George can get up. So we definitely, I would say, call plays for personnel down there.
Zach, as we look at kind of what you've done in high school and then through college, when you come to the Steelers and then they go out and they draft a guy like Kenny Pickett, does that bother you that they wanted a dual threat quarterback when they already had one on the roster in you?
I was pissed when we drafted Kenny. I sat in there and I told everybody, I was like, dude, we don't need to draft a single guy. You got your franchise guy right here. You've been sitting on him. You got him for cheap. Right now he's in his rookie deal. I mean, they had their guy already.
Big time.
Well, there were some close calls this year. I mean, Mason was inactive, so you know Kenny goes down. If Mitch went down, are you that third option?
Yeah, I mean, I would have had to go in and what game was that? Shit, was that Baltimore?
Bucks game and
game.
Also yeah, Bucks game and Baltimore game. Both of those Kenny got banged out early.
Yeah, and pause.
Yeah, pause, big pause there.
Big pause guy.
But also, those are two pretty good defenses. I feel like I would have probably had one of those days that was like 3 for 11 for 4 yards, 7 rushing yards. You know, I mean, shit, that would have been tough. But yeah, I would have definitely been the one back there doing that shit.
Zach, whenever whenever you do get a chance to score in the end zone for the Steelers, what is your touchdown celebration? Like, what you have something play? It's been 4 fucking years, man.
He
So
seems like a gritty guy.
You've been sitting on this for a while. So what is it going to be?
You know, I can't even. I don't even know anymore. You know, because I've thought of so many scenarios that just never happen. And so I think
This is so sad right now.
He's tired of getting his heart broken.
No,
he just stopped
feel bad
planning
for me.
for it.
I'm a pro football player. Please feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I think if I score, I'm just gonna punt that fucking thing into the crowd.
Yes. Yes. Is that a fine?
Oh, I'm sure it is, but you know,
You're taking it. You're taking it.
It's been long enough. I've been waiting. I mean, if I score this year, percentage is low for that. But if I do, 5th year, I gotta punt it up. I gotta punt it.
Yeah.
I don't think percentages are that low. You're due. It's like gambling, baby. You're due. Like you one of these fucking years, man, it has to work out.
I'll tell you what, I don't know, but I bet Deontay Johnson every single game this year, all 17 games, to score a touchdown. I didn't hit.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, though. I mean, that one.
That's great.
You would think it's a safe bet every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What are you like? Are you willing and open to coming back to Pittsburgh? Is this where you want to be, or do you see yourself like, hey, you know, maybe I got a better shot somewhere else, or it's like, you know what, Pittsburgh is home to me now. I like being here. You know, I know my role. This is where I want to be. What's it like for you? Like, where are you at with that?
I mean, honestly, I love Pittsburgh. I love being in Pittsburgh. I love the people. I love the coaching staff. I love the organization, you know, and I'm not just saying that because I'm still on their payroll, but I really do. You know, I think Pat and I complement each other well. I think, you know, Connor as well. Connor's one of those guys that kind of floats around, can do a little bit of everything. But, I mean, obviously everything in this business comes down to money. You know, is another team going to soar in and offer more money? I don't know. But, I certainly would like to be back in Pittsburgh. I really would, you know, if everything's right, you know, if it's the right situation for them, for me, I would definitely be happy to go back.
Where you live out this way? North Hills, South Hills? Are you close to the city?
Oh, I'm in Southside, baby.
Oh yeah, you slumming it in the South Side.
I'm a Southside rat.
You gotta be careful down there these days. I'm sure you've seen the news. It's turned wild down there.
Oh, I know. It's changed a lot since I've been there in just 4 years.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like not far from the facility, man. It's hard for me to justify. I've thought about moving to different places or whatever, but shit. I mean, I wake up, I've got like a 4-minute drive to the facility. So it's like, shit. I mean, if you live in, you know, Cranberry or Wexford or even like Squirrel Hill, any of that stuff, like you got to get up earlier. I mean, it's hard for me to justify. So I'm just right up the street, man.
Yeah, I live right outside of Wexford. It's like 40 minutes for me to get to the facility from here. So that's a lot of sleep time, realistically.
I'm one of those guys that worry about everything. Like I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and be like, shit, is there traffic today? Like, is there going to be an accident? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get fined. You know, being late and stuff. So I don't mind. I live, I'm sure you know exactly where it is. I live, like in the Southside Works area, like by the Cheesecake Factory and the REI.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a nice area there, actually.
A little nicer, you know. So
the organization will fine you if you're like 20 minutes late.
Yeah. I mean, like you're, like if you're late so the first thing we do every morning is a team meeting with Coach T. Like he addresses everybody right away in the morning. So like if you're late to that, or you walk in late, or you miss it, like you're gonna get touched for sure.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So when does that process start? Like when do you start having those conversations? You know, the Steelers coming back, re-signing, things of that nature. Like where are we at in that process of things?
I mean, it's a lot of it for guys who are currently under contract, like me. They can talk whenever, but different teams have different, you know, things that different rules they abide by or different things they do. So like the Steelers typically don't talk to anybody in free agency who's in contract until around combine time, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
least what I've heard, like is the vibe and everything. So I think they've typically done that for forever. And then, obviously free agency opens up, I think March 15th or something like that. So then all breaks loose. But I mean, all the teams who, have guys under contract who are going into free agency obviously have first right of refusal.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Kev?
So essentially, basically, they're going to get to talk to him first, and then if someone else offers you, so before they let you out to negotiate with other teams, they have the ability to talk to you first, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What are your thoughts on? So obviously, you've played with a couple of legendary coaches. You played with Harbaugh in college, and then now you have Mike T. What's that style in comparison like, and which do you prefer? Like, don't fucking lie about this. If it's Harbaugh, be straight with us. Like, if you prefer a specific style, which one is it going to be, Harbaugh or Tomlin?
Oh, dude, they're so different. I mean, but it's also different because I think there's a little bit different Coach Harbaugh now than there was when I was there, right? So you had a Coach Harbaugh that came into a Michigan program. If I'm not mistaken, the year before I got there, they were 5-7.
Yeah, terrible.
And I see these guys kind of starting to talk about when Coach Harbaugh first took the San Francisco job, and he came in. I saw something online about like he wanted to burn the grass to see where the snakes were and stuff like that. And that was the approach he took when he first got to Michigan. He was like, I'm going to get rid of all the shit that I don't like around here. All the shit. He changed the entire culture of that program. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. People forget Michigan was they weren't very good for quite a while. So. Yeah. He comes in right away. You're a 10, 11 win team every year he's been there. I mean, minus that COVID year. So, I mean, it was a little bit more cutthroat, a little more, I would say, like an typical NFL style coach when I was there with him. I mean, I had a good relationship with him. I could talk to him and, things like that. And he is very smart, very knowledgeable, but it was more of like he was the head guy. He wanted things done a certain way, and it was more business-like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coach Tomlin, both brilliant coaches. He's a little more easygoing. I really found that, like with Coach T, he's never a moving target, right? Like he says the same stuff, preaches the same stuff all the time. And obviously, it's a different situation. He didn't have to come in and change a culture or anything. But
right.
We're gonna paint the barn red.
Yeah, exactly. Like but he toes the line perfectly between somebody who you respect and he knows so much about football. It's unbelievable. It's somebody that you respect, but also somebody you can like go to if you have problems and shit like that, right? I mean, like he's the guy, So I mean, right now as an NFL player, I like that style, But probably as a college kid, I needed Coach Harbaugh style,
Yeah.
Right, more stern, keeps you where you need to be, and you fear you fear falling out of line on that end.
You know what's wild to me? I haven't seen Mike Tomlin blow a gasket on the sideline yet.
Mm-mm.
He just doesn't do it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
He's just always so like this. It seems to me. I don't know. It might be different. You're on the sideline. You're there. You're in the game. What's it like? Like, is he just even keeled the whole way?
He doesn't chew ass. Like, he doesn't really beat. Like, does he go off in meetings, anything like that? Like, stuff we would never see, but he does. He goes off.
I mean, I've seen him angry before for sure. And I think he's got one of those faces, though, where he doesn't look angry when he's pissed. Like there's times when the official comes over and you can tell he's, like, livid. And he's like, he'll like say something like, "Fucking what the fuck?" But like he's so like his own like composure. But like he'll say some shit like right up in their ear too, where you're like, "Oh shit," like yeah, like he's pretty good about it. He can throw some jabs in there, but Coach Harbaugh is pretty damn good at that too. So
I'm sure
we get to see two pretty good ass chewers there.
Zach, as Jerry and I are very, very bipolar when it comes to being fans. Like, we live on the highest moments, and that's the biggest thing that you always hear Mike Tomlin preach about is, let's keep it even keel, don't get too high, don't get too low. Jerry and I get too high and we get too low all the fucking time. So as fans, whenever the offense, the offense sucked last year. Let's just be honest about it. It just wasn't a very productive offense. It wasn't a great offense. So what do we have to look forward to going into the 2023 season to build off of from 2022? Like, what realistically, where do you think this offense can go?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't blame you for getting too high and too low. I mean, shit, when you love something like that, I mean, it's like when I watch my freaking alma mater, man. I watch Michigan. I'm on the Michigan bandwagon. I'm watching them play TCU. I'm like, we fucking suck. You know, it's like we were like one of the best teams in the country all year. But I mean, geez, those last 9 games were great, man. You saw Kenny Pickett. You saw him transform into somebody who, you know. And we always knew he was going to be a guy, but, you know, we saw somebody who looked just so much more comfortable, always so poised, man, in the huddle, in the pocket. It's always impressed me so much with him, even early in the year. So you have that to look forward to. I think we got a good quarterback. We got an offensive line that was dominating people the second half of the year, you know, running just inside zones and moving people back. And so I think, obviously, Najee Harris, I mean, you've got a running back that's like 6'3" or 6'4" that can hurdle people all the time. I mean, it was good to see us transform into something that we wanted to be, right? It felt like early we didn't have really an identity. We couldn't get it going on the run game or the pass game. Maybe one game we'd have thrown the shit out of the ball and we'd, you know, light it up. And the next game, you know, we're not so much. So, I mean, it was good to have more of an identity, a team that could run the ball successfully and throw the ball downfield. And you got guys on the outside who can get it done, right? I mean, I think George Pickens is one of the most efficient receivers in the league this year as a rookie, and he's got a hell of a lot more potential to go. You know, he's a young guy. He's just going to get better and better every single day. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. I really do. I mean, we've got the guys who can get it done. It'll be interesting to see with this offseason, with the draft, with free agency, what we can get done to shore those things up and make sure that it's as good as it has the potential to be.
Like, what would you attribute that to, going 7-2 down the stretch? Like, is there did you guys have a players only meeting at the bye week? Like, it was night and day. I mean, it was absolutely night and day. The first 8 games, we couldn't, like you said, we didn't have an identity. You know, some games we might throw the ball 50 times. Other games we might run it 40. Like this, they were just so bipolar with what we were seeing. And then after the bye, they just stuck to, fuck it, we're going to pound the ball. Like, you know, for better or worse, we are going to pound this football on the ground and we're going to impose our will. And to me, that's why they ended up going 7-2. But like, what's that attributed to?
I mean, I think part of it is just like going home or hanging out for the bye week and thinking like, I mean, we don't suck even nearly as bad as our record shows, right? I mean, even a lot of those games were close and we played like shit, a lot of them, you know. Going back and watching the film, you're like correctable mistakes, you know, like things, mental errors, stuff like that. But I think a lot of it too, man, is just young team that hadn't really played. There were some pieces that we got from other teams and young guys that we needed to get involved right away because they were talented that we drafted and things like that, that there's a learning curve for sure, you know, in the NFL. And so that's part of the, you know, there's shitty aspects of having a 17-game season. There's also great, aspects of it because you have guys that can grow up and mature during that amount of time. And I think after the bye week hit, I think we were sick of just losing and knowing that we were a talented team. We had the talent to fucking win, and B, we just were growing up. You know, people were getting more comfortable and used to it.
Here's a stat for you, Zach. This will cheer you up. Did some research today. The last 4 years, a person on the Pittsburgh Steelers that has over 250 snaps, you are the least penalized.
I think I know I've got one. I held Von Miller this year when Kenny was rolling out because I didn't want him to get his face torn off.
Yeah, we needed that. That's a good hold. That is a forgivable fucking hold.
And you know what? I told Coach Fredo, our tight end coach, because at some point during camp I false started, and I've never really been a very penalized dude. I mean, college, pro. I told Coach Fredo, I said, he was getting on my ass for false starting. I said, if I false start at any point this season, you can take $1,000 out of my pocket, guaranteed. So all season, before every game, he's like, or if I false started in practice, he's like, that's $1,000, man. That's $1,000 on Sunday. I'm like, I know. I'm down, like looking at that fucking ball like we're on the road.
Hell yeah.
Gentry, who do you hate to play? Like, so we had Pat on earlier in the season, and he told us who the one team is he cannot fucking stand to play. He gets up for it. Who would be yours?
I know what his was, and I haven't seen the interview. Did he say the Bengals?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he hates the Bengals. Hates the fucking Bengals.
Yeah, I know. Shit, man, that's tough. I hate
Or
a
a
lot of.
matchup, or maybe a matchup.
I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with Pat when it comes to like a team, the Bengals, because I mean, I hate to say what he says, but it's just true, man. There's a lot of shit talking on the field when we play them. It seems like it's a little more physical. Ravens are the same way, but it's different. It feels like there's a little bit more respect there between the Ravens and the Steelers on the field. A little less jawing, maybe, but definitely physical. It feels like there's a lot of shit talking lately in that Bengals game. So probably have to say them.
What about the Steelers? Who talks the most shit? Give us one on offense, one on defense, if you can.
Well, defense probably Cam Hayward. I mean, I don't know. We got a lot of guys.
That shocks me.
Well, you don't see it though. I think he's good at.
I never see it.
Sure nobody else hears it, but
that would have been like the last guy I would have expected to hear, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. We got a lot of guys on defense that can chirp pretty well. On offense, Deontay talks a little shit. I like when Chooks talks shit because he's a pretty quiet guy, and then he, shut the fuck up, bro. He gets into his shit. Well, I just killed you, bro. I love when Mason Cole talks shit too. He gets real sarcastic, and I'm kind of the same way. Like, we'll hit a big play, and he'll just get up and just be like, yeah, just real. Just annoying.
That's great.
Probably some of those guys.
Zach, you mentioned something earlier I want to hit on, is that you said, and I totally forgot this, that you did play with Duck in that 2019 season. I completely fucking forgot about that. So you've been in the huddle with, 4 or 5 different Steelers quarterbacks at this point, and you said that Kenny's so, calm and collected. What is that like between the 7 then to Kenny? Like, that's obviously you play with a guy who played for 18 years as a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then a man who has the weight of the world playing at Pitt, coming in, being the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Like, I don't think enough people talk about how much pressure is really on Kenny from the fucking city that loved the guy in college, and then to have to come be the first quarterback taken, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, and filling the shoes of Ben. Like, that has to be wild to be in that huddle with Kenny and with Ben.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. You have a legendary generational guy like Ben who's so successful there, and the figurehead of the organization. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to be the guy that steps in and has to, take the reins over for him.
Right.
Ben had things done a certain way. Everybody knew it. He obviously knew what the hell he was doing in there. You had to keep your eyes on him all the time, because right before the snap, you could just make a little movement, and change your route. It was just very he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's like being in the huddle with Brady and guys like that. It's, you're always on your shit. He's so used to it. He just walks in casually to the huddle, rattles it off, gets out. And so a lot of times with the younger guys, you don't see that, obviously, because, they're nervous or they don't know how to control. They're young. They come in. There's guys in their 30s that they're going to have to, tell what to do. And, so it's kind of weird and hard to maneuver that, right? And so Kenny came in, I remember during OTAs after we drafted him. Dude, from day one, he was so calm and collected in the huddle. Like, he never, a lot of times those young guys, they start, misspeaking and stuff when they're looking at the wristband, or you have to repeat stuff. And he just clear, loud in the huddle, authoritative, and so when he gets in there, you're like, oh shit, all right, like, hell yeah, like, we're not missing it. We're not skipping a beat here or anything. We're getting up to the line. He's loud, good cadence. So it's pretty special when you get to see something like that, for sure. Because, I mean, it's not common.
Yeah, no, listen, you should try getting out on the golf course with him. He's a mental midget out there. He doesn't know. He'll collapse in a second. I mean, this guy. This guy is a head case out there. He can't hit the ball straight. Then he starts collapsing.
Oh, he stinks. And he's I love it too, because he's so competitive. So I love it.
You could tell when he gets a bad shot. You can tell. I only played with him once. I had a ton of fun. Me and 2 of his buddies. But I'll tell you what, like, I'm like, oh man, like, I'm about to go play with the NFL, an NFL quarterback. My favorite team, the Steelers. Like, this guy's probably going to be elite. Like, this is probably all he did his whole life is just play golf in the summer, you know? And I'm just saying, I walk out there, and he's bad. I mean, let's call it spade a spade. He's bad.
I love that. That means I can golf with him because I suck too.
Yeah, I'm not any good either. Kevin's a bit better. But, Zach, I want to play a little game here, okay? Sure. I want you to give us, like, say one of the plays that, like, is a really, really tough play, like, with a lot of words in it, and me and Kevin are going to guess what happens on this play, an offensive play call.
Yes.
So you give us, like, the formation, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, whatever they say, like a tough play, and then I'll go first. I'll try to guess, you know, what the play is, and then Kevin will go right after me.
I'm going to have to do a little I'm going to draw one up real quick so that I can remember how to say everything. It's crazy how
so it is a lot. It's a lot.
Well, it's crazy how much it escapes your memory, dude, when you're not doing it all day, every day and studying it, you know, like it's only been whole weeks and it's amazing. I think back, I can't remember a single play call from my Michigan days, like at all. That was real wordy too.
So Kev, we're going to have to guess like where Deontay's going, where Pickens is going, where Pat's going. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Okay. I'll give you that. That one's not terrible.
Perfect.
All right. Read it off.
Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back, 352 spacing, Ohio.
Rhonda Out. So that would be, okay, Rhonda Out, okay? I'm going to say, and don't say yes or no yet. Okay. Rhonda Out would be, for me, the running back out of the backfield. What's the next phrase?
Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back.
Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back. Y would be a curl route. What's the next one?
Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back, 352 spacing, Ohio.
352 spacing, Ohio. 352 spacing, Ohio. I'm done.
Come on,
George Pickens out route, Deontay fly route.
All right.
What do you got, Ken?
Is it a run or a pass? Let's fucking start there.
I don't know. Am I allowed to tell you?
Yeah, no, you can't tell you. No. Come on, Kev.
Fuck. All right. Rhonda Out. I'm going to have running back rolls off into the flat. Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back. So we're talking Deontay curl route comes back, 352 spacing. I'm going to assume is the blocking scheme. I have no fucking idea. Ohio. I don't know. I would say Pickens deep on that. So Rhonda Out, running back off in the flat. Yeah, that would be what I would say.
Okay.
I mean, this is like reading Chinese. No fucking idea.
What is it?
Oh, okay. So Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back, 352 spacing, Ohio. So this really is, I hate to say it, this is like quick game, like day one install. I fucked you guys in that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so what's the play? Tell us what it is.
Rhonda Out is the formation, right? So Rhonda, strength to the right. Rhonda puts the Y, who's the tight end, off the ball to the right with the Z out. Out is the directional for the F. So like the directional terms are always applied to the F. So Rhonda Out puts him out to the left. So it's 2x2. Trying to get here. 2x2.
Yeah. So
you have the X, F, Y, Z. And then the Liz puts the halfback on the left in the gun with the quarterback. So Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back. The Y is the tight end. Y does a back motion. So back to the backside guard and then back to where his original alignment was to see what the defense is in if they're in man or zone. So Rhonda Out, Liz, Y back. 352 is the protection. 3-step drop. 52, they make their points, decide who the mic is, all that good stuff. 5-man protection. 3-step drop, 5-man protection, all that good stuff. Spacing, Ohio. So spacing is a route concept. Ohio's a route concept. So you're left to right like a book. So like spacing is on the left, Ohio's on the right. So you got spacing, you got like a stop, an OTB over the ball, and then a swing by the back. Ohio is like universal concept for like an out, like in a fly or a go on the outside.
Hey, we got that one right. We hit Ohio. What was the go route? That's the only part of that we were even fucking remotely close on.
Yeah, I think Jerry said
Out.
said Pickens on a go route. One of you did.
Yeah.
You got that right.
That's a split, Jer. That's a split.
Yeah, it's a split. Listen, we don't know ball we know ball, but we don't know ball like that.
That is why, like, so
That's
you have to, that's one play. So they all have similar wording as that, or like that's just one play and then another one could be entirely different than that.
I mean, for the most part, well, shit. I mean, they get really different. I mean,
yeah, we don't want. I mean, we're not trying to get Canada fired here. I mean,
no.
this was just a little segment. This was just a
I'm just wetting your beak. That's just a little taste for you.
I'm not. I smoke way too much dope to remember that much of a fucking playbook. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot more shit than that for sure. Like terms for obviously formations, route concepts. Like you can even call out single routes instead of like the concepts, all that shit. I mean, screens.
And you have to know the entire thing too. Like it's not just the quarterback. So the quarterback obviously has to know every single aspect of that, but you have to know it too. Like every player on the offense knows every version of that, or like linemen are only listening for one aspect of that play.
So, I mean, different guys have to hear the whole thing for sure, but you have like your keywords depending upon the position. I think I'm a little biased, but I think tight end is the next hardest position right behind quarterback on offense, because you have to listen for everything. And I mean, we're not even talking about audibles. There's so many plays where you are in a route and you immediately, or depending upon the look, audible to protection. You have to know who you're protecting, who the mic point is, where the line's sliding, where the back's coming. So like you leave one of those fucking guys free, they're going to kill Kenny. So I mean,
yeah,
you as a tight end, I mean, you have to hear it all, especially because if there's two tight ends on the field and one of you's taking over the F position and one of you's the Y position, so you need to really know two spots if you're an ace personnel. So like, it's a shit show. I mean, that's what a lot of people like you talk to, just like when I'm back here in town and everything, and they think that football is just like a video game that they're watching, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's not like a gamey game. Like, we're fucking grinding,
And that's Jerry and I sitting here like, what the fuck, man? We called the same 10 plays. Other teams are saying they're running the same plays. They're running the same plays. And Jerry, we would look like fucking children.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, listen, I'm just trying to find a way into the organization. I mean, I put it out on Twitter. Willing to work for free, water boy. Willing to do water work in the off season. I don't know what type of strings you can pull, Zach. Yeah, some water work. Keep the guys hydrated.
Oh, dude, I got strings. I can pull those strings so hard for you, bro.
Oh, I mean, listen, I'd love me and Kevin. I mean, Kevin's been to camp a lot more than I have. But the Barstool kind of hookup connection now with me is like, me and Kevin are able to go to these things and get credentialed and stuff like that. And I've gotten friendly with a couple of guys in the organization, and it's just so awesome just to be there in camp in Latrobe. And, we went to the Friday Night Lights, but it got canceled this year. But, dude, it was so much fun. We went to the day before too, right, Kev?
Yeah, we were there the day before we went to camp. We had those sideline passes, and then the next day it got rained out. We had interviews lined up with Coach T, with Tomlin, or Coach T, and TJ and Kenny.
Yeah,
Jerry had a crisp new suit from Goodwill. Fucking yeah, that was a sad day. It got rained out.
Yeah, it sucks. But no, it was really, really awesome.
We need guys like you around, especially during camp, man. Dog days.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I mean, Dave and Big Cat, they'll have no problem with me going.
Good. Yeah, well, shit. Dave's a Michigan man. I can pull some strings there, I guess.
Yeah, right. We're gonna have to do. Jerry and I had discussed doing like sideline interviews this year at camp. We're gonna have a little table. Maybe we can do a joint grilling and chilling with the Steel Here podcast. So I've seen some of the work that you've put out there,
dude. I love that grill and chilling, but I've got a bone to pick with those guys because they cut out so much good stuff that they're worried is going to get us in trouble. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, just put it out there.
That's the stuff you need for your own channel. Like, they need to give you that footage so that you can put it out on your own YouTube. Yeah, that's obviously corporate doesn't let you do that. But I would love to see, like, actually what those conversations are and not the PG shit that they give us.
Well, that's why me and Kevin, like, chose to go this route, like, with the Steelers podcast, because everything, like, we've listened to in the past, like Steelers podcast, it's all, like, all nicey nice. They don't get negative. They don't say anything. They don't curse. You know what I mean? They're just, so by the book with everything. It's like, nah, dude, like, let's do something to where, like, we're two passionate fans. We're two big fans. We're going to speak our mind every week,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what people want too. I mean, you can get offended or mad or whatever at any little thing anybody says anytime. But I mean, like, even like, I want to be able to make fun of certain crap and not, have it blocked out. And, it's not their fault, obviously. I mean, they're in charge of putting out fires and before they even start. But there were some really good clips and outtakes from those shows that just never got to see the light of day. I'd like to get.
I'd love to see some of that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That would be perfect to have on the sideline.
I'll send you guys one of those. I think I got one of the full ones. It might have been either Kenny's or Mason Cole's. I might have both of them. They gave me the whole thing before they cut it up, and I'll have to send it to you guys sometime.
That's great.
Well, hey, Zach, we appreciate you coming by. Honestly, thank you for taking the time. It's been fucking hell of an episode for us, so we appreciate the shit out of you. And honestly, man, I'm pulling so hard that you're able to work out a deal and stay in Pittsburgh because I think you're just a fucking funny-ass dude. And to me, we need guys like you that are going to have good personalities too, because there are so many guys that are just meatheads. Let's be honest about it. I mean, there are a lot of guys that don't know how to have a conversation as well in the locker room, so it's nice to have someone that's pretty fucking normal.
For sure, man. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. It was awesome to be on here. I watched a lot of your guys' stuff, so it was a blast. I hope I'm still around next year to talk to you guys about it some more.
For sure. Thank you so much, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, brother.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.